Turn on the light if it's here. I want to see it. Turn off that light. Turn on the light.
What if monsters were actually real? What if cryptids like Mothman and Bigfoot actually existed, just in a society below our own? Well, in today's film, that's totally what we're covering. Hi, I'm Lacey, and I just love talking about horror and scary things, and apparently I just really like to talk. If you're new here, welcome, and if you aren't new here, welcome back. Here's the shameless plug to like and subscribe, follow, all of the good stuff. The film I'm talking about is called Digging Up the Marrow, and it was released back in 2014. It is a horror mockumentary created and directed by Adam Green. And that's actually the best place to start when talking about this film. Adam Green is actually the creator of the Hatchet film series. And due to this, he got mail from a fan claiming that he could prove Victor Crowley, the main antagonist in all of the Hatchet films, really exists. Adam, thinking it was just a crazy fan, wrote it off until an artist named Alex Pardee approached him about an idea he had about an artist being commissioned to draw real monsters. And so Adam combined the two. Alex is the creator of pretty much all of the used album artwork, as well as the artwork for Sucker Punch, one of my favorite films, which is crazy because even before seeing this film, I apparently was seeing his artwork all the time and not even knowing it. His art is featured throughout the film, and he also acted as art director, executive producer, and creature designer for the film. They didn't want people thinking that this film was a real documentary and not just satire. They decided to cast Ray Wise, a well-known actor, who you might remember as Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks. And he also was kind of a badass in the Jeepers Creepers films. The film's effects were actually all done practically, and it actually took a full 5 years to complete due to Adam working on it between other projects. I think that's a sufficient rundown of the production of the film. Let's get into the actual film. The film starts as a usual documentary does. It goes through several different interviews of actors, directors, and artists all discussing monsters and whether or not they actually exist, starting with Jason Edmiston, who is a horror artist and an amazing artist at that. Steve Agee is next. He's an actor, comedian, writer, director, and musician who was on the TV series Peacemaker and one of my favorite films, Dark Was the Night. Then we get a cameo from Alex Pardee, the artist mentioned earlier. Next in the interview lineup is Oderus Urungus, the lead singer of the monster rock band Gwar, or the late Dave Brockie. This film serves as his last screen appearance before passing away in 2014 due to overdose. He and Adam Green, the director of this film, created a monster sitcom together called Holliston before Dave's passing. Next is Lloyd Kaufman, a director, screenwriter, producer, and actor best known for The Toxic Avenger. Next is horror royalty, the late great Tony Todd, who you probably recognize, or at least should recognize, from Candyman, all of the Final Destinations, and even as the Rocket Man on The Rock. He died just last year in 2024 of stomach cancer. But we got to hear his subtle goodbye earlier this year when he reprised the role as Mr. Bloodworth for the last time in Final Destination Bloodlines. Sam Keith is best known for being the creator of the comics The Max and Zero Girl. Evan Dixon is listed as a genre journalist, but since the release of this film, he's gone on to become a screenwriter and has written segments for 2 of the VHS films. Next is Steve Barton, who is also listed as a genre journalist, but he's since gone on to be a producer of some other horror films, one being Terrifier 2. Don Coscarelli is the man behind all of the Phantasm films, as well as the criminally underrated Bubba Hotep. After the intro, we're then taken to Ariscope Pictures in Hollywood, where we get an introduction from Adam Green, who, as I mentioned, wrote, directed, produced, and acted in this film. He states that a man named William Decker has been mailing him journals and other articles claiming that he's found real monsters. And he wants Adam to tell his story. Adam heads to William Decker's house, who we find out is a retired police detective played by Ray Wise, like I mentioned earlier. He claims that he's discovered and conducted decades of research on a society underneath our own where monsters are able to be free and thrive. He states that every generation, children are born that are different, and they're labeled freaks and monsters before disappearing when they reach a certain age. Decker theorizes that they leave and go to what he calls the marrow. He describes his first experience with one of them as a child, after stating that he was a lonely kid with a very active imagination. One night by himself, he saw what he at first thought was an old man, but then it looked almost like a serpent man with a forked tongue. After looking at each other, the thing jumped away and disappeared. In order to try and see the creature again, he stayed in a building until it got dark and saw creatures of various shapes and sizes emerge from a place in the ground. He was unable to get any footage of the monsters, but he did record footage of a hole in the ground where he guessed the entrance to the marrow was. After filming the interview footage, the guys notice a door that's padlocked shut that Decker keeps the contents of a secret. They head out into an old defunct cemetery that supposedly houses the current entrance to the marrow. While observing the entrance, the men chit-chat about their lives a bit. Decker admits that he was married at one time, but it was a long time ago, and that he comes to watch the entrance every night, and some nights there's lots of activity, while other nights there's none at all. Decker refuses to let Will Barrett, Adam's cameraman for all of his films, turn on the lights. But then also states that one of the creatures was there, but then went back down. He states that if the creatures know that the entrance has been discovered, they fill in the hole and disappear, making it seem like it was never there. After editing the footage, no creature can be seen on film. The next day, Decker shows the guys some illustrated drawings of a couple of the creatures he's seen, including one he calls Vance, who wears a bag over his head. When asked who drew the images, Decker stated that he had them commissioned. During the interview, Decker also let slip that he has or had a son. They then hear a noise from the padlocked room, and after Decker deflects any and all questions, Adam tells Decker that he actually needs to get footage of monsters for his monster documentary, and he needs to try to work with them to obtain it. That night, Will tries to use night vision on the camera, but states that he still can't see anything. After Decker says that the creature is right in front of them, Adam tells Will to turn on the camera while Decker yells to keep it off.
No. Turn on the light if it's here. I want to see it. Turn off that light. Turn on the light. Shut it off.
Decker then states that he is no longer willing to do the documentary, and they need to leave after scaring off the creature. The next day, while looking at the footage, they try to decide if the creature is real or just really good monster effects done by Decker. They call Kane Hodder over to look at the footage, and he is best known for portraying Jason Voorhees in 4 of the Friday the 13th films, and also portraying Victor Crowley in Adam's Hatchet series. He's not convinced that the creature wasn't created, and is disappointed that there isn't more footage. 2 weeks later, the guys are back at Decker's house, where he reprimands them for turning on the light, but states that
the creatures haven't relocated due to the sighting so they can continue with the documentary. Adam has Will tell Decker about an idea they had to capture the creatures on film. They'd place soft lighting in the area and leave it there for the creatures to get used to it, and then place cameras around the area that would be hidden and unmanned. While waiting for the cameras to capture footage, Adam interviews Decker for more information. He explains that over his decades of research, he's discovered over 40 different species and over half a dozen entrances to the Marrow. And he's seen some of the monsters interacting with oblivious humans, especially around Halloween, when they're able to blend in with society. He claims that a creature he calls Umbrella, who has a feminine figure but covers her head and face with an umbrella, picked up a drunk college man at a bar in Salem, Massachusetts, and the man was never seen again. However, 3 weeks later, a mutilated corpse was found, and while the case is unsolved, Decker believes it was that same man. And while most of the monsters are harmless, just like in every society, there are deviants or evil individuals. Later, while collecting the cameras, they find that one of them is missing, but one of them did capture footage of a creature appearing after 4 hours of footage was recorded. So if it really was someone hiding and appearing in costume, they would have had to wait that long beforehand, which helps support the theory of the creatures being real. At this point, Adam and Will leave to go on a month-long horror convention tour. While there, he shows some of his Marrow footage to Tom Holland, not the actor, but another writer-director from the Horror Hall of Fame. He's the man behind Fright Night as well as the original Child's Play. He and Mick Garris, the guy who wrote Hocus Pocus, tell Adam that William Decker sent his story to numerous horror directors before settling for him. When Adam asks Decker about this later, he lies and tells Adam that he was his first choice when picking who to share his story with. And while looking at the footage taken by the cameras, Decker is seen turning off some of the cameras before interacting with something at the entrance. He's shown feeding something, petting it, then crying. Adam states the likelihood that Decker may have had a son who died, and due to a psychological break, his mind may have created the story of the Marrow, help process his grief, and now he believes the creatures are real, and his son is one of them. Adam wants to continue the documentary regardless, because even if the monsters aren't real, capturing Decker's mental health collapse might also have merit. During this scene, in the background footage, you can see one of the tombstones actually gets up and walks off camera without anyone noticing. And apparently there's a lot more hidden that you'll have to look for yourself by watching the film. In order to corroborate Decker's story or possibly his mental health history, they travel to Boston to ask police officers if they can be a reference to his character. Unfortunately, they discover that he may be lying about his past, as none of them have even heard of him. In protest, that night, they go to the entrance of the Marrow and Adam climbs in. Something grabs Adam's shoe, and after retrieving it, they're found by Decker. Adam confronts Decker about his lies, but their argument is interrupted.
It's my business. We have been upfront with you since day one. You know exactly who we are.
Get down.
What the hell was that?
I don't know what it was, but it brushed against my feet and went over there.
Turn off that camera light. They're watching us.
Guys.
After seeing and hearing several of the creatures, they try to escape, but their vehicle is set upon by Vance.
What is that? What is it? Drive around it. Drive around it. What the hell?
They narrowly escape, and back at Decker's house, he reveals that he believes his son is one of the creatures and he doesn't want to lose him. So he plans to follow the creatures into the hole before they're able to fill it and disappear. Adam refuses to let him go alone. So Decker tells him to come back in the morning and they'll go together. The next morning, Will and Adam go back to Decker's house, but he doesn't answer the door. The neighbors say no one lives in the house, so Adam breaks in. The house is completely emptied out, and the room with the padlock is open. Inside, there are chains, feces, and spoons scattered around. It's apparent that Decker was keeping one of the creatures, likely his son, in the room. When they go to the entrance to the Marrow, the hole is filled, just as Decker had warned. Sometime later, Adam films one last interview, explaining that he tried to contact Decker numerous times without any success. However, the missing camera was returned to him in his home with some unseen footage. The footage shows a creature wandering around the Marrow before coming to a cage with a traumatized Decker inside. While being threatened by the monster with the camera, he warns that he was wrong. He pleads that monsters aren't real and he shouldn't be followed or searched for. Then the footage shows the creature returning to Adam's home and watching he and his wife sleep. A disfigured hand reaches for Adam. And the film ends.
And that is Digging Up the Marrow, a super underrated found footage film. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment below. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment below. If there's a film you adore that you would like to see me cover, go ahead and drop that below as well. I have a Patreon. Thank you to my one and only member still. I also have a Discord that's free to join, and I would love to see you in there. And thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, because that means so much to me, and there are so few of you that do make it through the whole video. So hello, I love you, thank you. And with that, I am Lacey, and I will be here for What Scares You.